Today, we're going to take a look at something that seems completely ordinary in everyday life, but under the microscope, it can be truly surprising. Sand. Just a handful of tiny grains we walk on at the beach, by the lake, or in the forest. But when you take a really close look, it turns out to be a whole different world. What exactly is sand? Sand is simply crushed bits of rock that have been broken down over thousands, sometimes even millions of years, by water, wind, and changing temperatures. Most of the grains we see are quartz, a very hard mineral made of silicon dioxide. But sometimes you can also find feldspar, mica, calcite, or tiny fragments of other minerals mixed in. The grains usually range from a few hundredths of a millimeter to about 2 millimeters in size, truly tiny. The first sample, Masurian lake sand. I collected the first sample in the Masurian Lake District during a trip by the water. This area was shaped by the last ice age. It's full of glacial erratics, huge boulders carried here all the way from Scandinavia by the ice sheet. You can see such stones all over northern Poland. Some are now natural monuments, and long ago people believed they were magical places. Under the microscope, Masurian sand is very diverse. Most of the grains are transparent quartz, but you can also spot black and orange specks, probably mica, like biotite, and feldspar. Most grains have irregular shapes and sharp edges, meaning they haven't yet been smoothed by wind or water. In polarized light, the quartz grains shimmer with rainbow colors that shift as you rotate the microscope stage, while the feldspar glows with pinks and greens, as if the whole sample turned into a tiny mosaic. The second sample comes from near Warsaw, from inland dunes. These small sandy hills also formed after the glacier retreated. Wind carried sand here and shaped it into dunes. The soil in these areas is dry and sandy, poor in plants, because sand doesn't retain moisture well. Under the microscope, this sand looks completely different from the Masurian one, even though most of its grains are also quartz. Here, the grains are more rounded and smooth. Since inland dunes were formed by wind, the grains collided and rubbed against each other during transport, becoming more polished and rounded over time. At first glance, both sands look almost the same, just fine, pale grains. But under the microscope, you can see that each tells its own story. The Masurian sand, young and sharp, fresh from post-glacial rocks. The dune sand, smooth and light, shaped by the wind. And in the future, I'd love to add some marine sand to the collection. Maybe I'll manage to gather a sample during summer holidays, with tiny bits of shells mixed in. That must look absolutely beautiful under the microscope.